I think this is really, really unfair. How on earth can I follow that? That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Tom. That was absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so unfortunately, I did have a whole series of slides that I was going to show you. So, and one of them was of Hannah as a little baby, and she's pulling herself up on the sofa, I think it was, and there's sort of. She's bubbling a bit and trying to get up, and then she slips back, and falls down, and her little legs pop up in the air. And I don't know if you remember that, do you, Hannah? That was on her 18th birthday. Lots of things that I could tell you about Hannah. She's a very, very hard-working girl. She's a very beautiful girl as well. And with lots and lots of interests, dancing, particularly when she was younger, she used to dance with all her friends. She's very adventurous, she loves travelling, and she's done lots and lots of things, and I would like to be able to have time to tell you about her role as Jane Bond with Targa. Their GCSE media project it was, and Hannah's wandering around Cavendish School with a gun like this, looking for Targa. There's that, there's her playing the flute, there's her at university and her university friends, and some of whom are here today, through them all, but she's a really lovely girl. She is a very, very lovely girl. She has always been like that. She always looked after, and she looked after our twins when they were tiny as well. I said I wasn't going to cry, but I knew I was lying, actually. Yeah, I just can't. I'm absolutely useless at this sort of stuff. Dear, oh dear. I packed out this pocket full of handkerchiefs before I came out, but it's empty now already. Right. Well, unfortunately, I did have a little ditty that I'd sort of put together that I was going to show you up so we could all sing along to it, but unfortunately, I can't do that. The fortunate technical hitch, and so I'd have to do a solo otherwise. We don't really want that, do we? Anyway, so I'll forget that, or will I? No, it's a silly little thing, really. It's to Rule Britannia. Hannah Foster, beautiful and bright, almost born in a car on a cold December night. She had red wellies, oh she loved them so. They came back from the jumble, she couldn't let them go. Loved to travel, they'd been nearly everywhere, except to Namibia. But they're soon gonna go there. Tom was treated to a birthday trip to Paris. Next time they go there, there'll be Mr. and Mrs. I've come to the advice bit now. I've got four little bits of advice. The first one is seize the day. It means whatever's going on, get on and do it. And whatever you do, don't be late. And I noticed actually in that little video there, Tom said, God, he's really late. And I'm thinking, oh God, no, not again. Yeah, the second bit is of advice that I got was actually passed on to me by a very dear friend who couldn't unfortunately be here tonight or today, and his name is Brian, and what he said to me was always look on the bright side of it. Always look on the bright side of it. All you need is love. Da, 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 da. All you need is love. The fourth piece of advice, and this is when I was thinking about best friends actually, and it's a strange thing, but when you think about your best friend, somebody you really get along with, and happiness is being married to your best friend. And I think I thought that was really nice, but I'd like to add that happiness is being married to your best friend with benefits. The toast is to Mr. and Mrs. Harris.
Hello people, I'd like to hear some noise for Hannah and Tom. He's had some funny looks over the years, and when I first met Tom 15 years ago, he was 5 foot something, baby-faced, scruff bag really, with a weird floppy blonde mullet. So as a friend, it's really nice, man, to see that you're starting to blossom. Tom's been quite clear on what I can't talk about in my speech. Well, I felt obliged almost to give him a call and, throw around a few content ideas. Tom, that time when whoa, man. You shouldn't be telling anyone that, let alone a room full of my best friends and family. So I was like, well, not even that time when you slept around my flat and did a tour in my bar. Tom and I met at Lewis College. Tom would rock up on a Friday with his rucksack ready for a night out. And it wouldn't be that uncommon for him to still be kicking around a week later in the spare room. Tom's never had trouble making himself feel comfortable. Go around the house and nick all the best pillows. And I could never find my favourite t-shirts. And I also came to realise that in that rucksack of his, Tom would usually have all he needed for about 2 weeks on the road. I've learned a few other things about Tom over the years, and Han, you're probably well aware of all these. If you're ready to leave the house, and Tom's deciding whether to take a jumper or not, make yourself comfortable, because he's working his way down the body until he's happy every contingency is planned for. If you're planning a cheap holiday with Tom, whatever the original budget is, double it. Missing a plane is likely, and damage to a hire vehicle probable. If you're eating out with Tom, don't go hard on food with him, because you will go hungry. Now, very important, I feel, is to familiarise yourself with Tom's unique text language. Like, entire sentences will contain utter gibberish and no relevant information. Yeah. Despite Tom's best efforts, there is no guarantee that 1, he'll be on time, 2, he'll be there within the hour, or 3, actually have remembered to be anywhere at all. If you're planning a road trip with Tom, don't expect any help with the driving. Tom's ability behind the wheel is the same as his ability with a football. Right? Nervous, not particularly controlled, and totally unpredictable. And last but not least, if Tom is staying at your house, it might be best to lock his bedroom door. If there's chocolate in the cupboards, for some reason Tom will find it. He's sleepwalking, right? He'll find the chocolate, he'll eat the chocolate, and then he will wash it down with any milk there might have been in the fridge. There's no guarantee that any bowel movement will actually end up in the toilet. And 3, if he decides that your bed's more comfortable than his, do not be surprised if you're woken up being spooned by a grunting Harris. I remember the first night you met in the Pressure Point all those years ago, and I wonder if it wasn't for that chance meeting, whether you'd still be in my spare room eating Angel Delight. But as it is, you live very full and exciting lives, and I can see that you inspire each other, and together we make a real great team. It's a special thing to know someone for many years, to grow up together and be part of each other's lives through the ups and downs, to feel totally comfortable with someone because they're like a member of your family. Tom, I remember all the times that we've spent the nights dancing away, and one of the few people that get my side splitting, and one of the few people I could forget for getting me grounded all those times as a kid. So it's been a true pleasure to have been part of your journey so far. And although you kick football like a girl, drive up the ground, I love you, man. So can we please all just take our glasses and salute Tom and Hannah, a beautiful couple, lucky to have each other now and for all these exciting years ahead.
it's you lot. Ever since I've known him, people have been drawn to him and whatever he's doing at the time, purely because they know it'll be fun with Tom, and Tom has some great ideas. These ideas have led groups of us away to Morocco, Ireland, Mexico and Berlin, to name a few, as well as organising club nights, heading masses of us to festivals, hikes to the mountains, and even impromptu fancy dress house parties. So what sort of stag do you organise for the man who usually organises all the group trips away? Well, Tom had that under control. He'd already decided where and when he wanted us to go, what activities we'd do, who would come, and even a contact to arrange it through. But apart from them minor details, I did it all. I had to be taken to hospital on the last night of the stag do in the Alps due to what I can only describe as some intoxicated stag rutting. Thank you, Daniel Finlayson. Tom's second stag do was a more genteel bike ride along the South Downs. Unfortunately, I cut my hand with a chainsaw the day before, so I couldn't attend the ride. Once again, this only displays Tom's great foresight and planning. Had two best men. If Adam doesn't survive till the wedding, at least we've still got Max. So wherever you got to know Tom, be it Eastbourne, Brighton, Bristol or elsewhere, I'm sure you'd agree, he networks himself very well and is a great hub. He always seems to know the right person, or at least have a contact. But what this large network of friends has provided Tom is an even larger marketplace to make a few quid. As much as Tom loves to unify his mates, he doesn't like to miss an opportunity. Whether that be selling various I Heart t-shirts that he had printed, I think the best seller was I Heart Sausage at Brighton's Pride Festival one year. To cold beers and watermelons on the beach, noticing that we sold the most in the nudist area. Tom would always have a bum bag full of change and a list on his phone of who owed him money. It goes far to say that all his friends have been on his list at one time or other. Harris Corp has also had dreams of going international. These ideas have included fold-up leather purses from Morocco to Jaguar growlers from Mexico and silk ties to pineapple corers from China. So maybe he's more of a Del Boy than a Richard Branson, but what he definitely is a blagger. After living with Tom for many years, and even sharing a bed with him for the first 8 months, a couple of things became very apparent. Firstly, his gift of the gab, his ability to talk himself in or out of any situation. Secondly, and not so useful, is his erratic, animated, tactile, sleeping behaviour. I mean, who wakes himself up laughing? Becoming a bit too friendly, or occasionally sleepwalking, as we've heard. Tom managed to land a job that he was a little bit underqualified for. Fortunately, his gift of the gab, and maybe slight embellishment of the truth, got him the job of principal of a language school at the very prestigious Brighton College. The job included accommodation on site, and Tom couldn't believe his luck. He would often ring me up from the office, unsure of what he was supposed to be doing at the time. Tom soon turned this around and started playing to his strengths. He realised if he could give confidence, motivation and positivity to get the best out of his staff, this would make his job a lot easier. A couple of months into the job, Tom decided to go for a few drinks with the staff. Now, as you all well know, a few drinks can turn into a few more, but Tom swears when he went to bed at the school that night, he wasn't that drunk. In the early hours of the morning, Tom was woke up aggressively by one of the other teachers. There was panic and confusion in his voice as the teacher asked, "What the hell are you doing in here?" Tom didn't understand what was going on. till he noticed 3 Israeli teenagers all huddling on one bed because their principal had burst in, eyes shut, mumbling, half naked, and passed out on one of the other beds. It goes to say that Tom got the job for his better attributes, but lost it for his worst. But that is life, my friend, and it's been a pleasure being part of yours. Hannah, maybe you've had to share Tom with his friends more than most girlfriends would be happy with. And I'm not just talking about the 8 months Tom and I shared a bed together. I think that your patience and understanding has only enhanced your relationship. You are both very dear friends of mine, and I couldn't be happier watching you start the rest of your lives together. You without doubt bring out the best in one another, and I think that's what true love really does. A toast to love, happiness, and the new Mr. and Mrs. Harris.